Hi, welcome to Fantastic Feast. I'm your host, Thuy Phan. Today we're going to make a very simple dish that is an easy weeknight dinner. It's baked salmon spring rolls, or most of people know it as summer rolls, but it's a Vietnamese rice paper, baked salmon, super simple, and it's a sauce that's kind of semi-homemade, but it's an easy way to have a quick dinner that is really healthy, that is a riff on the traditional pork and shrimp spring rolls, but with salmon. We'll also show you how to make coconut cupcakes, which is one of my favorites. So this is something really easy, as is most of the things that I like to make. Actually, my roommate came up with this dish, and we've kind of just done a little bit of tweaking here and there to a recipe that we really like, and it's something that I eat almost once a week because it's so easy. So without further ado, we will get started. What you will need is a salmon fillet. You can buy this anywhere, obviously. This will feed easily 2 people, but 3 people that aren't super hungry. But a salmon fillet, and that's already done at the butcher or at the seafood counter, so you don't have to worry about deboning and scaling and so forth. You also need a ton of garlic. I notice there's always garlic in almost every savory recipe that I make because I love garlic. You also need some scallions, some shallots, also some lime and lemongrass for the sauce. And when I said the sauce is kind of semi-homemade, it's because I cheat a little and I buy this mắm nêm, and this is a very acquired taste. If you are Vietnamese or Asian, this is something that you've probably grown up with, and it's a very pungent, fishy smell. But for those of you who are not too familiar with it, you can also buy the peanut sauce, which is probably more easy to eat. But I like the salty, sweet flavor of this, and then when you add lemongrass and lime, it just punches up the flavor, and it's a really good addition. So let's get started. I have the salmon fillet, and what I like to do is take a baking tray, lined it with foil, but then I also get some more foil. My fishy, and what I'll do now is I'll cut up the scallions, and this is 2 bunches of scallions because I find that when you do a lot of scallions and you bake it, it's really adds a lot of flavor to the dish. But turn the oven on to 375, get it heated so that when we are done prepping the salmon, we can just pop it in and then wait for it to be done. So I went ahead and I pre-chopped the garlic just to make life a little bit easier, but because I love garlic, I probably did like 20 cloves, but you don't have to use that much, obviously. So this is kind of the trifecta of shallots, scallions, and garlic, and it does a lot to add a lot of flavor to the salmon. So it's a really simple flavoring, just salt and pepper and some olive oil, and then I layer all of this on top, wrap it up, and bake it for about 30 minutes, and then it comes out and the salmon's really tender and flaky, and then you use that to roll the rolls, and it's really a great dinner option. So we just want to do a little bit of salt and pepper on both sides. A little salt as well. We have olive oil. And then we'll flip this over, and I'll put this on the foil. You've done the salt, pepper, and olive oil. Now I just add garlic and shallots and scallions. Just add it to the top. It's layered with some garlic, some shallots, and some scallions, salt and pepper, and olive oil. Super easy. I probably prepared that in under 10 minutes. So after that, you just wrap it up. So you wrap it up like a present, and then you just put it in the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes until it's cooked, and then you take it out, and then we start rolling. So Now that we have the salmon in the oven, next what we can do is start preparing the sauce, which is also super simple. In this time you can also wash your vegetables and start cutting it and so forth. I already did it because I figured everybody knows how to wash vegetables and prepare it, but that's a big part of this dish because it's so vegetable heavy and it's so refreshing. It's really healthy because you actually trick yourself into eating a lot of lettuce, cucumbers, and fresh mints and so forth, that it's super healthy, and you don't think about the fact that you're pretty much eating a salad inside a rice paper bowl. But let me just show you what I've done here. What we use is red leaf lettuce, but it doesn't have to be red leaf lettuce. You can do butter lettuce, you can do romaine lettuce, depending on what you like. I like how soft and crinkly it is, and it looks nice in there. This is called tito in Vietnamese, but I have no idea what it's called in English. But you can buy this at all the Asian supermarkets. There's always an assortment of herbs that you can pick and choose depending on what your preference is. I also have Persian cucumbers that I've cut up into like long strands. These cuts make it easier for you when you're rolling it because they're long and skinny. And I also have some mint from the backyard, organic fresh mint. So this is what I'll be using to roll this salmon, baked salmon roll. So during this time when we're waiting for the salmon, it's a good idea to get this done so you can get everything pretty much done within 30-40 minute time interval. But I'll show you how to make the sauce. It's super easy. You already did the minced garlic, and we use that. And then the great thing about Asian supermarkets is they have lemongrass that's already minced and chopped in the frozen section, and that makes life a lot easier as well. You can always, of course, do it yourself, but that adds probably about another 10 minutes for you to cut the lemongrass and chop it up really finely. But because it's kind of like a simplified weeknight meal, you can buy it already done and just defrost it so you have it ready to go. And it looks like this, bright green and so forth. Salmon is one of my favorite fishes, so we just thought, hey, how easy would it be if we just bake the salmon and roll it up, and it turned out to be something really good. And it's kind of, I would call it, I wouldn't say it's so much fusion as it's kind of a more modern take, because I don't think in Vietnam they would ever bake salmon to do gỏi cuốn or this type of rolls, but it actually works really well. Now that we have our juiced limes, our lemongrass, and our garlic, we'll take this over to the stove and make the sauce. Let's get grab my pan. Now I'm about to show you the easiest sauce to go with this, but this is only if you can handle mắm nêm, which a lot of people cannot, but if you are adventurous, you should definitely try it because it just goes really well with the salmon. We have this prepared mắm nêm sauce that's already done, and they pretty much do 90% of the work for you. It's good as is, but I find that this sauce that they sell in the store that's already made, it is super pungent. So if you add like the lime and the lemongrass, oh excuse me, if you add the lime and the lemongrass and the garlic, it just it mellows out the flavor a little bit and it makes it a little bit more palatable, more citrusy, so lighter. So I'm gonna turn the heat on, and then from here I add garlic. Then I also add 2 tablespoons of lemongrass and mix it up. By doing this, I allow the garlic to cook a little bit so you're not eating raw garlic, so it's not so strong. Obviously, I use a lot of garlic in this dish, but I just think it goes so well with the salmon. Yeah, I really love garlic, so pretty much everything I cook has as much garlic as I can possibly put in without offending people. But obviously, if you don't like garlic, you can take it out, but I think it adds a nice dimension to it. And then from here, I just add the waddle in. And then you just let it simmer for about a minute or two just so it cooks down a little bit, and that is your sauce. And so you're halfway there already. Just wait for the salmon and then you assemble and roll, and then that's all it is to it. So now we're almost ready to roll. The salmon is just about ready. Our sauce is done. This is one of the neatest inventions that has happened in the past couple of years for any Vietnamese family. You fill this with hot water, and this is what you dip your rice paper in. And do you see how nice and thin it is? When I was growing up, we just used a big bowl of hot water, and when you're eating with your whole family and there's a big bowl of water, it just takes up so much space. So someone came up with this brilliant idea to make it so nice and thin, so then you have more room for other stuff on the table. And this you can get at any Asian supermarkets, fairly inexpensive, like $6 or $7. And alongside that, they came up with these plastic thingies to help you roll so that it doesn't stick to your plate. So then everybody can roll and then just have your rice paper on there and just roll straight from there. So these are nifty little inventions. Obviously, you don't have to have these. You can just use regular plates. But if you do spring rolls or summer rolls all the time, this is such a good investment, and it makes life a lot easier. I gifted my sister and my mom this once I saw it at the supermarket. I was like, you guys have to have this. It has to be a part of your household. So I'm going to fill this with hot water, and then we'll get ready to roll. And there are a lot of different brands for these spring roll wrappers, but for me, they're all the same. But I know some moms and some parents have a specific brand, but this works fine for me. I'll take a few of these, and they have a nice little drawer for you to stick it right in. Telling you, brilliant. Okay, so here's our assembly, and I'll show you. All you do is dip this here, swish it around. Okay. It's perfect. Okay. Okay, so actually at this point, to be perfectly honest, the way that I usually serve this is I bring this to the table, I put it on a plate, and then people self-serve and they take as much as they want, and you know, it's all ready to go. However, what we'll do here is I'll roll it here at the station so you can kind of see how you roll the spring roll. Obviously there's no right way, but just so you get an idea. But you do have several options because this is pretty much done. You could bring it to the table and serve it, every man for themselves, and just cut and you know, serve it or cut it as you eat. But I'll roll this now so you have an idea of how to roll a spring roll. But the spring roll takes literally just like a couple seconds to soften up once you've dipped it in the water. Let me get a knife and a fork so I can scoop it. There is no rhyme or reason on how you can do this, but I've been rolling this as a child and adult, and for some reason I'm still not very standardized in the way that I roll it, but it's okay because as long as it gets into your mouth, you're totally fine. I like to do the lettuce first actually, so it creates kind of a barrier. So basically how you do this is you layer lettuce first, my preference actually, lettuce first, some herbs, mint. I think when I was growing up I was not very good at the different flavors and so forth, so I couldn't really enjoy the mints. But as I got older, you know, it adds so much flavor to the dish, and now when I eat this without the mints and so forth, it feels weird because it adds a different dimension to it. But just add your salmon on top. Some people like to add peanuts to this. That's an option as well. Some people like vermicelli. That adds a little bit more sustenance to this because you know, the rice noodles makes it a little bit more hearty. But I sometimes like this because it's a low carb option. So it depends on what you like. Some people also add plantains and different herbs. And the way I like to do is you fold over once first. Fold in the corners. Keep rolling. There we go. And this is our baked salmon roll. Now that the salmon rolls are rolled, all we have left to do is pour the sauce into cups and then eat it and enjoy it. So let's do that. So, okay, now for the best part, actually eating what you spent your time on. So, bon appetit to me. If I had friends, they'd be here to help me eat, but as it is, it's just me. Okay, here we go. Okay. Really good. It's perfect. Really healthy. Salmon, veggies, nothing's fried, and you have your really flavorful sauce as well. So it's a nice light lunch or a nice easy dinner. Hi, welcome back to Phantastic Feast. I'm your host, Phan. Before the break, we had some really delicious salmon rolls, and right now let's do some dessert. This recipe is for coconut cupcakes, and it's something that I found online, and one of the things I think is, there are a million recipes online, and you never know which one is really good. So I've tested and I've tried a ton of recipes, and this is one of my favorites because I love coconut. And I made it and I brought it out to a volleyball meet actually, and a bunch of people ate it and they were like, this is delicious. And one of my friends who got married, she asked me if I could make it for her wedding. So that's when I was like, okay, this is a great recipe, so I want to share it with you. It's not super hard or super easy. It takes just a little bit of time, but it's totally worth it. The coconut flavor really shines through, and it's really creamy. The cream cheese, it's perfect. So let's get started on it. What you'll need is some flour, sugar, butter, cream cheese obviously for the frosting, and then you need coconut flakes to decorate it with. You also need eggs, baking powder, baking soda, coconut cream, some buttermilk, and salt and vanilla extract, and also some powdered sugar. So if you're a baker, then this is all the stuff that you should probably have in your pantry already. So what we'll do first now is we'll combine all the dry ingredients, and then we'll mix all our wet ingredients, and then whip it up and then put it in the oven and then make the frosting while the cupcakes are baking. So it's all part of a big master plan to get it going, and you have beautiful cupcakes within probably less than an hour if you know what you're doing. So you need 1 1/4 cups of flour plus 2 tablespoons, and to that we add half a teaspoon of baking powder. And then we do 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, then 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Then you want to give that a light whisk just to mix it all up. You have your dry ingredients there. And then we will go over to the mixer over here, and this is when we'll beat our butter, our eggs, and also the buttermilk and coconut cream. You need 3/4 cup of sugar plus 2 tablespoons, and also 8 tablespoons of butter, or half a cup, or 1 stick of butter. And then you also need half a cup of buttermilk, and then half a cup of coconut cream. And then you also need half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and we have 2 eggs right here that we'll need to separate. We'll put in the yolks first, and then we'll whip up the egg so it's nice and fluffy, and then we'll add it all together. So let's bring that over here and mix everything together. So now is a good time to use your stand kitchen mixer. It's probably the best thing that I own. I've had this for over 12 years and it still hasn't broken down, and it's makes baking a lot easier. And what you need to do here is you want to combine the sugar, and then the coconut cream and the butter, and mix that up for about 3 minutes so it's all well blended. And then to that we'll alternately add some of the egg yolk and the buttermilk until it's all combined. After all the wet ingredients have been mixed together, we'll start adding little by little the dry ingredients to this. So turn them back on. So part of the reason why we separated the egg whites and the yolks is we have to beat the egg white so that it's a little bit fluffy, and then we fold it in so that it gives the cupcake kind of like a nice airy texture to it. So you want to add your egg yolk, or egg white, excuse me, and then you just whisk it. Okay, so after you've tuckered yourself out, whipping it by hand so that it is frothy and a little bit foamy, or just some peaks to it, then we'll fold it into the batter, and then we will line our muffin tin with some liners, and then pop it in the oven, and while it's cooking, we'll make the frosting. So that's good. And next, we will line our muffin tin. And then we'll fill up these muffin tins and then pop them in the oven at 350 degrees, and then we will bake them for about 10 to 12 minutes until the center is comes out clean with a toothpick. and let it cool, and then we will frost them. And then it's ready for the oven. It's going to be baking at 350 degrees, so let's get these babies in. So we'll put the cupcakes in the oven at 350 degrees for about 10 to 12 minutes, depending on when the toothpick comes out clean. And then in the meantime, we will make the frosting. Super easy, and it'll be ready to go once the cupcakes are ready. You'll need 1 stick of cream cheese, half a stick of butter at room temperature, and then you need 1 cup of powdered sugar, and then also half a cup of coconut cream. So you're getting coconut in 3 ways: coconut inside the cupcake, in the frosting, and then also on the decoration. So it's pretty much a triple hit of coconut. So if you love coconut, this is the go-to cupcake recipe. That's all there is to the frosting, so you can taste it. Really good. Cream cheese, coconut, really simple frosting, but it's so good. So I can't wait to put it on the cupcakes. So now our frosting is done. I'm going to show you how to pipe it into a bag so that it'll make life easier when you pipe it onto the cupcakes. And you just need a coupler, which is when you're into cake decorating, you put it onto the bag and then you close it, and then it creates like a seal for the icing and so forth. So I'll show you how to do that, and then we'll wait for our cupcakes to be done, wait for it to cool, and then we'll ice it, and then we'll decorate it, and then we will eat it. My favorite part. So let me show you. Here's the trick. You take a Ziploc bag. It can either be a half gallon, or this is the gallon one. And what you do is you put your coupler inside this corner. And then this corner here, you're going to take a scissor and you're going to snip it. From there, what you do is you take this part of it and you screw it on. Now you have basically a pastry bag. This is so convenient because then you don't have to wash it. You use it once and then you throw it away, and then you don't have to worry about washing it. So I like to take like a big mason jar, put it down there, and open this up. And this will make putting the frosting a lot easier, so it's not like sticky on the insides. And then from there, you just pour it through here. Okay, these look gorgeous, so take them out, let them cool down. Once they cool down, we will ice them. Now that our cupcakes are cooled down, we are ready to ice them and then decorate them, and then put them in these cute little filigree paper cutouts. It just makes everything look a little bit cuter. I'm into these things, but so we have our cupcakes, and then we have our coconut flakes. I'm gonna open it up and put it into a bowl. Make life a little bit easier. So here we go. This is how you ice it. You have to hold it at the top, pastry bag, and then you just come down here and you pipe, you squeeze. All right, and there you have it. This is pretty much triple coconut cupcakes, and they are cute and beautiful. And once you put them in these little thingies, containers, they look like they came from a very expensive bakery instead of just your cute little kitchen. So it's a great way to dress things up and impress people. So there you have it, triple coconut cupcakes that were pretty simple to make, and they are so good. I've had them before, so I know they're good, but I can show you. Okay. Okay. I love the smell of it. So here we go. That is so good. The cupcake is so light and fluffy. It's so good. And then the cream cheese frosting, creamy and coconutty. It's a perfect cupcake. Thank you so much for joining us here on Phantastic Feast. Hopefully you'll get a chance to make this at home, and maybe it'll be requested for a wedding, and you can share it with all your friends and family. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll hope to see you next time.